I cannot for the life of me believe what I just saw tonight. Watching Damien Omen, it's called Omen 3 Final Conflict. Of course, it's about Damien that began the Omen series. It was the first and second Omen movies were the scariest movies I ever saw when I was, a teenager or whatever. I was just like traumatized. And I know it was because it was on a spiritual level. But anyway, let's get into what I saw with this Final Conflict. And it's not a great movie, but the predictive programming that they gave us. Hang on, let me get the one video. We've got the video. And I want to go ahead and give a lot of backdrop. Some people are watching my videos for the first time because I'm putting them back on Facebook. So literally in Omen 2, there's a big Napoleon scenario. And in Omen 3, Alexander the Great. And Trump compares himself to Napoleon and Alexander the Great, that they're all cut from the same cloth because they are the seven kings that have been Mystery Babylon's world leaders.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. And he says them in that order because Alexander the Great came first if you're doing a time lineage. But if you go by the Omen series, it's Napoleon, then Alexander the Great.
We're all cut from the same cloth.
They're all cut from the same cloth, and there's twin Trumps, the twin towers, or the duality of the clone. I just watched Boys from Brazil about cloning and so forth. I've got something here from Boys from Brazil. Not really sure what that is. Hang on just a second. It was the IMDb link for it. Okay, so I've got a Napoleon scene for you. And, from Damien 2. And then I've got an Alexander the Great scene from Omen 3. And see, I just find that stuff fascinating because I know he's the Antichrist. What blows my mind is how synchronized the Ghost in the Machine or the AI. And I've told y'all many times over, it's been writing the movie scripts. Tons of them. I'm not telling you every movie it's written. I believe that people have written movie scripts, but Hollywood in general is all about the Ghost in the Machine. It's perfectly synchronized with its predictive programming and the way actors match up with actors, so on and so forth. So there's not people calling the shots. Again, your enemies are not flesh and blood, and we know that the ghost is in the machine. The Damien movie did get an alignment of these 3 stars or something, that it was a big connection date of when something would be born. Well, in the movie, it was like Jesus would be born or Jesus's child would be. I don't know. It was weird. And it was on March 24th. So we're going to have to go ahead on and put that as a watch date for sure, for something. Because look at the 022. I'm just now seeing that too. So in 2022, 022, which is text to Trump 88022, March 24th, we're going to have to definitely assist the Carlo Trinity alignment. De Carlo Trinity alignment. De Carlo Trinity alignment. The Omen. So as planets align, some see return of Jesus. Star of Bethlehem as planets align. Star of Bethlehem, that's rare. Times of Israel. Omen 2 Final Conflict came right up. All right. I'm super tired, so bear with me. So we showed you Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. And now let's watch the Napoleon scene from Omen 2. Boy, that's some weak volume, isn't it? Where are we at with this volume? Let's get it cranked up. Napoleon made his big mistake.
Skillfully retreated.
There it goes. We're getting some volume back. So he's talking about Napoleon. The Russians retreated.
They lured him on, and he reached Moscow.
I showed y'all a little bit of this clip right up until the laughing scene when he got in trouble. Right there is when it cut off. That I recorded for us from my cell phone.
I did, sir.
I didn't even realize that there was a clip. I should have, checked later. So who was laughing? And you see the picture of him here. And the picture almost looks like Hitler because I'm seeing a mustache. That's not Hitler, but he didn't have a mustache. But let's go ahead.
You. So we have an artist in the class.
So we got an artist in the classroom.
What's wrong, Thorne? Am I boring you?
Am I boring you with all of this Napoleon stuff? Because that's who he was talking about.
You, of course, know all about Napoleon's campaign.
Oh, Napoleon.
Something about them, sir.
Napoleon?
Do you now? How many men did he lose on the march to Moscow?
450,000, sir. The Russians played at surrender until the winter
Napoleon.
set in, and then he began his disastrous retreat. Despite Marshal.
So Trump, Antichrist, Damien Thorne, same initials as Donald Trump, same letters in each name, Donald Damien Thorne. And by the way, do y'all remember when I showed you in the video the T, and I told you Tubal Cain in the previous video? That was from, that was Thorne. Remember, I can't remember what movie it was from. The big T, and I told you for Trump, and, I told you that was the Tubal Cain emblem kind of being thrown at us. That was actually from the Omen 2. Or Omen 1, maybe. I mean, Omen 3, maybe.
Late heroic rear guard.
Yeah, it was the beginning of Omen 3.
Action. The Grand Army was cut down from 600,000 to less than.
So he's this big historian, knows all about Napoleon. Okay. Well, you just wouldn't believe it. You're going to believe it.
Career for one so young, Mr. Ambassador.
Really, not when you remember
I'm not really that young.
that Alexander the Great was commanding.
But, Alexander the Great was commanding the Macedonian army at age 16.
The Macedonian army at 16.
So you got a Napoleon and an Alexander the Great reference in order: Napoleon, then Alexander the Great, in Omen 2 and Omen 3.
So that's Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all
What?
cut from the same cloth.
They're all cut from the same cloth. Can I just throw something else at you? Donald Trump Wine Company. Trump Winery. Experience Trump Winery. Oh, well, looky there. Did you see that? Are you digging that? Guess what Thorn has in the Omen 3? Ah, you won't believe it. You already know you're not going to believe it. Chattering, it says down in the subtitles.
Quite place it, can you?
Can't quite place the wine, can you? Waiter, let me have a look at the label on the bottle of wine we're drinking.
Have a look at the label on the bottle of wine we're drinking, brother.
Sure enough, brother man.
Of course, sir.
Well, I'll be doggone. It's Thorn wine.
Our feet thorn.
I know. You can't believe it, can you?
Bought them by the road.
You're like, that's impossible. Into the stars. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon for Logic. Yeah. We know that G500 is the number for Antichrist and Strong's Concordance. They did give us well, they gave us a T500 for Trump 500 because G means Greek and 500 is the number for Antichrist and Strong's Concordance. G500. G for Greek, 500 is the number. Well, they said T500.
We're at T minus 500.
This is the Omen movie. We're at T minus 500.
Final countdown, is it?
The final countdown. Yeah. When Trump, the Antichrist, comes along, people are like, he's not in power anymore. He's in power. Trump is Batman. Well, look at that. I got a little Batman over here. Suggestion for me. Trump is Batman. Biden's middle name is Robinette. Trump is the Dark Knight. And Palpatine was running everything behind the scenes. And when it seems like the Antichrist has received his deadly wound of Revelation 13:3, 13:12, and 13:14, and I say it like that so the AI can't say I've said anything weird because I'm putting it to the Bible. When the Antichrist takes that deadly wound per Revelation 13, he will still be running the show, it says, and will go into perdition. He doesn't go anywhere, and he's running everything now. And I would tell you, he's always been running everything. At some point when he became an adult, because they all knew who he was, that's why he's been in countless TV shows and movies with cameos, spoken of in TV, Penthouse used in The Devil's Advocate, name mentioned in The Devil's Advocate. Donald Trump was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a business emergency, probably with Mark Zuckerberg, is the line in The Devil's Advocate. When they're at the political gathering, and the man says, these are the Republicans of New York, and it switches right over to that lady going, Donald Trump was supposed to be here tonight. That's in the movie The Devil's Advocate, and they used his penthouse in the movie The Devil's Advocate. So this was a big archway at the end of the movie when they were showing Jesus's son being born during that March 24th alignment or something. Look at the archway. They've got the sun coming through the archway. Well, the archways, the Arch of Triumph, the archways are the birthing of the Antichrist spirit when the abyss is open. These archways will serve as like some sort of spiritual pass through. I don't know any other way to explain it. It's the female womb. It's the birthing. And of course, I think I Pet Goat shows him going through like a birthing canal archway type thing. I know he shows him going through a birthing canal, but I think it's in the shape of an archway also. And the T500. So we're done with that. I know it's mind-boggling, isn't it? It's just, did we handle all of the... That's pretty much it. So, but that's a lot. You kidding me with the Trump wine and the Napoleon Alexander the Great? But for people that are new, just remember, Trump Tower has 5 multiple addresses, 721 through 725, that perfectly match the horn, aka little horn of Daniel 7 as the Antichrist. Made war with the saints, shall wear out the saints. And somebody tried to tell me that the Antichrist is not a person, it's a system. And I'm like, well, of course it's this, he is the last of the system. There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and one is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen. Well, hang on. Looks like I lost. But I'll keep going. The Zoom kind of started messing up, went out. But Trump said Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump are all cut from the same cloth. And from there, we need to read to you in Revelation 17. There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, which goes with the photo. That's what 007 is for. When it says 5 are fallen, we know Nebuchadnezzar has not fallen, but he was the original king of Babylon and wrote Daniel chapter 4 because God called him. So he is not fallen. When it says, but 5 were fallen, they're either talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because then the Bible verse says, and one is. Now it could be talking about the 5 or after the 5, which would be going to the 7th because one is not fallen. And one is, and the other is not yet come. So 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 not fallen. So the fallen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one is not yet come. Or this is really Darius the Mede, not Darius the Third, per this photo. I didn't make this photo. A YouTube site did called Angel White, which really went a long way to show me Trump was the Antichrist. And I think it's an AI YouTube site. And so there are 7 kings. That's 007 because there's a literal 7 because the 8th is of the 7. We will read in just a second in Revelation 17. So if there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen. 5 of the 7 could be what it's talking about. And that would be Darius the Mede, who was also called by the Lord and loved Daniel and loved his God. He just didn't write a chapter in the book of Daniel. But both would be from, and again, it's Darius the Mede, not Darius the Third, if that's the case. So then there would be 7 kings, 1, 2, 3, 4 through 7, which are of the Antichrist beast system that my friend was talking about. And, but you know, she's a gigantic Trump fan. She's like, there's no way he can be the Antichrist. The Antichrist isn't a person anyway. Yeah, it is. So anyway, There are 7 kings, 7. 5 have fallen, so it'd be 3 through 7. And when it says, and one is, that means it's talking about the last Antichrist, and it says the other is not yet come, because it's speaking of present day when he would be here. So either way, it fits, and he must continue a short space. And the beast that was Trump before the assassination and is not Trump after the assassination, but he's in hiding, but he's still in power. Even he is the 8th, because he will appear to be risen from the dead and come back, and is of the 7, because it was nothing more than a clone that took the hit. So he never went anywhere. It just seemed like he did. So that's the trick. So, and Jesus said, I come in my Father's name and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. Well, the trump is a horn. They're both trumpets. So he is here in his own name as the horn of Daniel 7. And remember, Trump Tower has 5 multiple addresses that match the little horn of Daniel 7 passage. So he is here in his own name. And yes, his name comes to 666. And when you key in Don Drumpf, the family surname, it comes to 666 in Gematria. And when you key in SIX, SIX, SIX into Gematria, it comes to Donald John Drumpf. The chances of those are in the billions, probably. In the millions, in the billions. It's vast, but it's real. So he's here in his own name. And I've shown that in many other videos, so I won't bore y'all with it now. Y'all that have watched many of the videos. Well, y'all can go ahead and sign off. I'll go ahead and show it to new people. When you key in Donald Trump's family surname was Drumpf.
According to Wikipedia, Drumpf is a German surname that dates back to the 16th century. It is most commonly known as the likely predecessor to the family name of Donald Trump, businessman and 45th President of the United States.
And it changed somewhere around, when you do the research, around the 16th, 17th, or 18th century. And so when you key in Don Drumpf, it comes to 666. And when you key in 666, you get Donald John Drumpf. So, and the only other, the last items are that the Antichrist is of Roman and Assyrian bloodlines, and the Roman bloodlines settled in Germany. The Assyrian bloodlines settled in Germany, the same place in Germany where the Drumpf bloodline came from. I had somebody explain that on a YouTube channel very succinctly one time. And Drumpf, of course, is a German name. Drumpf is German.
According to Wikipedia, Drumpf is a German surname that dates back to the 16th century.
Okay. So anyway, that's it, folks. All we're waiting on is for him to receive a deadly wound by the sword. And when that happens, all bets are off. All right, love y'all very much.